I really enjoy this job. I take it so to heart. I really want everyone to have just an amazing experience. You know, there's a lot of industries out there that you never get that personal touch, you know. But for me, I like to be involved. I like to feel like I made a little bit of an impact to some degree into people's lives. And you know, it's nice when people keep in touch and carry on keeping me in the loop of what's going on with their families. I think it's a nice thing for sure.
Personally, I love the planning. I look at putting events together and weddings together as like a big jigsaw puzzle. I look at it as very similar to being in theater, where you all work together for the performance, which is the actual wedding day or the event day, and then it's sort of a letdown when it's over.
The first time I actually saw a wedding, like a big ballroom wedding at the Ritz, I literally walked in the ballroom and it was goosebumps. I mean, the band was there, the decor, the candles, the windows were open. And I was like, this is what a Chicago wedding should look like.
On a few Saturday nights when my daughter was young, I'd say, come on, let's go check out parties on a Saturday night. And I'd be so excited, I'd pick special parties for her. And it got to the point quickly with her, she goes, oh, Mom, I've seen it. And yeah, for me, if my mom had said, let's go look at parties on a Saturday night, it would just been the most exciting thing. And I still, walking into that party site, is so wonderful.
The sky's the limit. I mean, especially for ceremonies, you can do guitars, you can do harp, you can do piano, flute, and violin, you can do a string quartet. It can be classical, it can be pop music, it can be beautiful melodies like the Beatles. That music tends to reflect the person who's coming down the aisle. And I know the brides and grooms really care about picking the right music for their wedding, so I feel like when they do finally make those selections, it's always the right choice.
I think the most important thing in my role when we do all the paper processes for the wedding is making sure that they absolutely love it. One of our grooms was an artist, so he did a lot of like renderings of different buildings. So everything that meant something to them in Chicago, whether it be the street that they lived on or where they met or their first date, all of those different renderings were each the table cards for the wedding. And that's just like a personal, fun touch to add to the wedding.
There's so many details that go into planning a wedding. I just got married in July, and so I'm very familiar with all of the details. And what we do here at the Ritz Carlton is we make sure it's a seamless experience and a memorable experience. The team will recommend the best vendors to work with, and they'll really just make sure that they make themselves available to you around the clock during your wedding planning process.
I think it's great that a chef has the chance to custom-made something for a wedding couple, for example, like really interacting with them and custom make a menu for them. So it's a very emotional thing to do that with a guest together. Not every guest is really 100% food knowledgeable, but they don't need to be, because that's what we are here for. And then if we get the feedback that people like the food and I did something extraordinary, then I think that's really the best reward you could have.
I'm all about social media. I'm on Instagram. I follow so many people, bloggers, people I know, people I don't know. For us, we've kind of circled back to a lot of our past brides and grooms and asked them to share with just our Ritz fans, but also our prospective couples. I think people like to hear from real people about their experience, why they picked to work with us and why they picked to get married here. You could be meeting with me and I could be telling you that this is the #1 place to get married because you're working with me, you're working with Missy, you're working with our team. But hearing from past people, I think speaks very highly, and people have a lot of confidence in that.
I've noticed lately that all weddings have their own hashtag, so it's a great way to be able to just click on the hashtag on Instagram and then you can see everything that people have posted. Say you weren't actually there for the wedding, you can feel like you were a part of the day.
We always try to personalize the site, so whatever we can find out about, the bride and groom, we do, and then, do things to wow them. It's really exciting for us to work with chef and come up with like maybe pastries that we send them home with, or if they have a certain thing that they really like, then we can have that for them and present it to them. And it's really kind of a personal touch that we like to put in. I mean, being with Four Seasons, you expect to have amazing service, but when you add in personal touches, it just makes a world of a difference.
For example, we had a bride and groom that on the first date, he brought her red roses, and that's kind of been their flower for anniversaries and birthdays and things. So when the bride checked into her suite, we had just red roses everywhere. And so not only was it a touch for when she came into her suite, but it was a personal level because that was a special connection between her and her future husband.
I love working here just because it's a really happy place to work, and you're working with
weddings and brides, and they're always happy. They're so excited about, this big event that's coming up in their lives. And so, that just makes it so much more enjoyable for us, constantly working with, that positivity and that level of excitement.
I gotten to be very close to a mother of a bride. And the bride herself lives in Washington, so we did a lot of things over the phone and via email, and it was her first daughter's wedding. And she called my cell phone at about 11:45, and she was crying, and she just said, "You have made my daughter and I feel closer." So I just love things like that. It's very rare that I'm watching a bride go down the aisle that I'm not choked up. Every Saturday is pretty much of a great day doing what we do.